So now we're at base, yeah. But you go over here, it'll give you a graph of it moving. When we let it go together. You press play here. 1, 2, ready, go. Stop it when it's getting as it was going, and the time here is gonna go, and you'll see like a large jump when it hits,
So that's the reading we want.
and it turns red.
It turns red when it goes backwards.
Yeah,
So it's
it
getting
turns
negative.
red when it starts coming backwards.
So we want that last point.
No, we want
The
the
big one.
the
We
big
want
The biggest one.
biggest Newton. So that'll
Yes.
be even higher.
That's higher.
Yeah.
But
when
but nothing
when it-
red.
yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but
going
you'll
backwards,
see,
right?
it gives you like every 0.02 seconds of exactly what it was doing.
Okay.
So there's a lot of data to work through with it, but you could always just pick.
Well,
like,
all we really need
We got force
Yeah.
x-axis. That's all we got.
was the
Oh.
time. Is it acting like a timer where you go
Yeah.
from let everybody take a?
Is that how we're taking it?
reading
Is
of
we're
the
taking
things
the
that
ones
you're
with the
trying
same?
to
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's the impact.
Okay. So we're
And then
taking
it'll start changing as it
we're taking the
moves.
3 with the same, right? Those.
The velocity went up by 4 and the time decreased by half.
Yeah. Is that not what we're
14
looking
times
for?
14 frames is 3 equals 42. It'd be closer to 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 times, yeah.
Because we go from 0.14 to 0.43. It's more like 3 times.
3 times.
We could even argue twice with experimental error though. Is it supposed to double as it has? Is it supposed to go
Well,
proportionally?
let's do a quick. Let's plug in and see if we're getting the right mass, the mass that we expect to get.
That's acceleration, but we can use velocity because they explained it in our test.
Was this the experimental weight of the cart, or is this what you get when you do this?
No,
We matched
This
it.
is what,
Yeah, we masked it.
All right, yeah, that's our check. So don't put the mass of the cart that you measured in there, because that's your. This is your.
These are equal to what our force is. This is equal to acceleration. It's a fancy
Right.
asset. So, since if we do this, then this cross out, this crosses, these cross, which leaves us kilograms, which gives us our mass.
Right.
Which should mean that this should work for that.
That.
And then this is just mass being, so it's kilograms being multiplied by meters
I just did a motion.
per second squared, and that will equal the newtons.
Did you just write back? I'm
Good.
sorry.
That's why I wrote backwards.
Just like something that.
Remember that the mass is changed, and that does change.
If he catches and he pushes them at the same time.
So just let me know
It
what.
kind of hits, it'll lose so much.
I-
Get off the wall.
Like he's saying, in front of the cart, so picture the cart, right? Say if we had something that stuck out like this, so when it
needs
hit the
to be
wall,
linked to
the
there.
only thing that hit the wall was the ends of these 2 things.
Well,
The
it's
cart
not a
never even
test.
touches
The
the
test
wall.
has to be complete.
But
Um,
in reality, that would be a car
and
and
the other
that'd be
thing that
air,
I
so it
just
won't stop.
realized is that we
You know what I
can,
mean? Like it won't hit a wall. It would hit a car.
I can mount this.
Yeah.
That way you
It kind
just
of
have
like-
this
It
spot,
like
you guys
scrapes
can
it a
talk
little,
about
it still
our-
has enough
It's just
energy to
that.
move.
The problem is deploying that. If he starts scraping it in the beginning,
No, there has to be some kind
yeah, I
of
have-
mechanism in there that once it reaches a certain point, it just locks, like it literally grabs.
Miss
on.
Jameson, how are the child lock in cars, like the seatbelt child lock? How is that made? How does that work? Like when you pull on it, it stops if you pull on it hard enough?
Are you talking about like on a seatbelt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some kind of a roller in it that when you pull fast, the
Clamps on
roller
itself.
shoves up.
Alright, so what we're planning on doing is having some memory foam and other foams at the front of this to help with the discretion of the paint can. Well, we're going to use some other corks and stops on the bottom, near the back, as well as try to jam the wheels in so that we can lower our velocity and general speed. Because the denting is usually caused by an excess of force from forward momentum. So we're trying to lower the forward speed of the cart. So that way, like when it hits, there will be no scratching, and also it won't dent.
Okay, so I have a question that I asked them also, yeah, which is what happens when the shopper's just using a cart? Does it,
Right,
does
which
it
I
get,
just heard her say.
Yeah.
And
Shouldn't
then
make the
also,
operation of the cart change.
well, generally when you push a cart, there's usually a dead wheel, right? Because we're talking about a real world scenario, and most carts have one dead wheel at least. So I'm like,
I don't recommend.
I'm not gonna try to make it super like,
having
it's
this,
not, the point of
because
this
then
isn't to
how am
make
I
it super
pushing my
hard,
cart
it's
around
just to
this
make it
door if I've got
subtle.
someone
It's just like a
that's
subtle kind of drag, not like a full blown just like stop.
Okay.
That's
Because
pretty
I
much
still
the
need
idea for
like,
that.
I still need the
Okay,
cart wheels
thank
to
you.
roll. You're making it hard for the wheels to turn. So in other words, you are constrained by not being able to, I'll do this only by decreasing velocity. Did you guys get that?
So
This is a constraint. You cannot only slow the cart down some kind of way. Because I have to still push that cart around full of groceries in the store. So if you make it really hard for the wheels to turn, then yes, you're right. Your shopping cart is not gonna clonk into my car, but you're also not gonna be able to push your cart, and no one's gonna like that. So they're not gonna come to my store if I have your carts in it because they're too hard.
Happy, because if it's like this, unless they realize it's really windy that day and it's coming this way, that's not gonna open up.
alright, so it's going windy and it goes this way.
Alright, shut up.
Alright, that's what I'm saying.
There's something wrong with yours.
Sharp, they can't gain speed, right? That's why they have to block. It's
I
like
don't
a
know
block
this.
parachute.
Oh, okay, so it's like a parachute. Okay. So
It's
you're
already
using,
deployed.
so you're using air resistance.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
thing is, if you have like the shopper, he's pushing it. There's nothing on the tires. There's only, it's like deflated, if you
Yeah.
will. And then once it starts moving, it catches enough air to hold it back.
Oh, that's
So maybe,
ingenious,
should
yeah.
we take like two, just think about half
do that, then I see what you mean by putting restraints in it.
I think we should say that our constraints wouldn't change the way you would have to use the shopping cart. How about that?
What'd you
That
say?
means that your constraints are that you can't change the way you would use the cart. So you
So
can't
don't get
take
a
up
Goodwill.
space inside the basket. You can't change the wheels and make them hard to roll. The cart.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Should I just let it go?
Looks like on the middle screw, so let's do one, we do have some damage to the paint. Let's go
I think
ahead,
you're gonna do some damage now.
Ready?
this one will.
Ooh.
Oh no.
She makes these pieces and assembles the kit. You get a little triangle shaped, like derby car.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Montana.
I'm looking at, she gives you and other stuff.
Put it up.
This one, I think, these were both the same mass of the car, but this one was released from up here at the top, and this one was released from. So this is your control, since you guys are releasing from the
That
middle.
looked pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so is the track all set the way you?
God, I hope so.
Alright. The moment of truth.
2, 1.
Oh.
No damage.
Ah,
No damage. We had a question. They said they thought they heard
Is that
they heard
the
a
cart?
dent.
That jumps away or the car
Yeah, our
jumps away?
impulse
One of those.
our impulse is like almost 4 times as much.
no, I think that was legitimate.
One more. No.
That's what we wanted to
Whole brand new.
Oh, beautiful.
That is
No
good.
damage. Ready?
Are we just presenting to them? It doesn't matter anymore.
Well, it should be to everyone. If we could have your attention up here, please. For their, because everybody's giving their.
So our first idea for the shopping cart was actually just to put a piece of foam on the front and hope for the best. And then we also had a second idea, which is here. You can see the difference between the two is that there's space in between the foam here, and we figured that that might help it as well. And then once we tested it, we actually found that not only did it fall apart every single try, but it had very little effect on anything whatsoever. So our final product looked more like this. We actually had 2 pieces of foam, and we put springs in between them, and we have kind of like a It's cute. We found that not only is it an ideal way of adding to the shopping cart, but it's also very efficient. And actually have videos. So this is the cart hitting with nothing on it, and you can see the damage it does to the can. And this is the video of our cart doing it.
I love the way that will slow moving.
It is great. With no damage whatsoever to it. You can see the springs compress.
They compress so perfectly. I'm so
Yeah. And then we have the math all the way down here.
Well, okay, I got you. Okay, so the impulse time without the design on it for the collision was 0.028 seconds, and the force on the little reader was 52 newtons, and then the impulse for that, the impulse you said stays the same. That's cool.
Well,
Or
your masses
relatively
are
constant.
a little different, so.
Yeah. We're gonna do all that, but ran out of time. And we got our force down to 10 newtons, and a time up to 0.192 seconds, which is good for the force, for the impulse equals force time collision.
So the time is like,
The time went up. This is great.
Yeah, by,
It's lit.
yeah, by
10.
a lot, yeah, by 10.
basically.
And
Which would reduce your force by about.
By 5
Yeah.
times, yeah.
Cool.
Awesome, very nice.
So, the challenge was that we had to create a shopping cart that would minimize damage and denting to parked cars. And so for some background research, we knew that spreading out force helps with lowering the amount of damage done because it's not focused on a single point. We also know that air is often used in airbags, which causes other force. We also know that air resistance also helps slow down carts. So we decided to have a wide bumper, which would cause drag and also help to spread out the force at the same time. So the controlled impulse with the weighted cart was about 1.46 kilogram meters per second. With our final design and everything else that's said and done, our impulse increased to 4.38 kilogram meters per second. Some of the areas that we probably have in our math, though, is the fact that the sensor itself is just one focused point, and that our design is more about spreading out force than just hitting a single point or trying to slow the cart down. So we had various designs for our cart. The first design was sort of like this, where we would have a thinner piece of foam coming from the top, hitting initial contact, and pretty much starting the whole process of slowing the cart down as it went until it hit the larger mass. Let me see. The second design we had was just using a big piece of memory foam, really, and just kind of honestly having it thick and hoping it would work. And our third design was kind of similar to another team's design where we would have something dragging in order to slow it down. But since kind of impractical, we couldn't really do it, as well as the first design. It was too long. The first design would be too long. This one just isn't practical and would just cause too much drag, and nobody would use it. So we decided to use the second design. It would spread out the force over a large area, and also it's just, the air resistance and everything like that. So then we started modifying. And what we fully ended up with after all of our modifications, which put it down here, is our final design. So we have multiple layers of the foam in order to kind of stage the compression, as well as at the front we kind of curved the very last one in order to form around the can. Because generally usually when shopping carts hit parked cars, it's generally on a corner on an edge. So if you kind of grasp it like a claw, it will spread it out all the way around the can and not centering in one point, causing the damage. And that's pretty much our project.
You crashed it into the can.
Oh, we didn't cause denting in our can with this design, and without it, it caused quite a massive dent.
Very nice.
I was saying.
Yeah, and these guys, those people had all had physics before, and
You can explain that. Alright, so we started out for our first attempt to put rubber bands on the tires to increase friction. But then that was banned because it wasn't practical. No one wanted to push a cart that had rubber bands at the bottom that was hard to pull. Then we decided to remove the rubber bands and add a parachute at the back, so if the cart did go too fast, the parachute could get bigger. That didn't really change anything for us, so we went with that idea, where we put a Ziploc bag with a plastic bags in front of the phones. We had 3 phones in front because it just walked best with the cart. Like it decreased the force that we put on the sensor. So you can go ahead and explain that.
Now, initially, what this idea was, first made up of was the fact that we had a Kroger bag and we wanted to fill air with it and then place it in front here. Now, what that would do would give a hugging impression to the can, which would basically leave it untouched, and then, with the bounce, would bring it back without harming the can. However, with the Kroger bag that could get holes in it and stuff, it'd be hard to untape and tape. So we used this Ziploc bag. Now here, we have 3 things. So we made our springs with like sponges. So the spongy material would kind of act as a spring. And then here, we put basically what the bags were in here, so it could kind of give the same hugging impression, except it wouldn't break or anything. The Ziploc bag is actually stronger. Then here, we added a brake. So what we did with our brake is that here, it has like different types of segments, and with the tape, we leave it at a certain segment, and we can basically control how fast our cart is going. And in case it's going too fast, the vibrations from the cart will make the tape basically move from segment to segment, deploying our brakes so it will basically almost never harm the can. And
So
that
when you
was our
say
intention.
segment, you mean the threads of the screw?
Yeah, the little
Okay.
threads of the screw
Okay.
will basically, it just make that, just in that
Okay.
impression of lowering the brake only when it needs to at a certain velocity. And that was basically what the fundamentals of our thing.
Initially, without all this on it, we put a force of 54 on the sensor. Then by putting this on the cart, we lowered it to 32. Now, when we put the brake on it, the lowest we could get it to was 10, and that was
10
really
newtons.
10 newtons. That was really significant.
What I liked about our idea was that when we got it, when we recorded the data, it went up constantly. It went from 1, 2, 3, 10, and then go back like in the same thing. It was like really cool. It just showed that this would absorb it really well. And then
So the distribution of your force was 1 Newton, 2 Newtons, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yes.
8, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, it went,
yeah,
yeah.
it went like it was perfect. Then we put like 1,000 kilograms, and we got the same results just with adjusting our brakes, and sometimes we would put air in this just to make things better. Overall, this is what our final design is, and it worked really well. And then when we finally tested it, it left the can undamaged, which was basically a big result from the initial, which would leave the can dented and scraped. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Very nice, very nice.